Greetings YouTube. This video is a response to a video made by Luke in which he makes an argument for a more decentralized international system. Well, I'd basically like to deconstruct at least about 4 or 5 analytical points Luke has made. Although I don't disagree with all of them, I disagree with the majority, and I think that his view of international relations is a very naive and unrealistic view of international politics. The first claim Luke makes is that the international context is one of anarchy, in which there's no world leader. This definitely coincides with the political realist position, in which the international context is one of anarchy, in which states are in a perpetual state of conflict, vying for power, self-interested, viewing power as a zero-sum game. That is to say, the accumulation of power of one state results in the inferiority of another state. When another state begins to build their arsenal, it results in the inferiority of another state. This idea that states are in a power struggle amongst each other in international context of anarchy. Although this is what we call the security dilemma, when one state builds up its arsenal, the other state feels inferior, builds up their arsenal, and we have an arms race. Or a security dilemma of some sort. Although the security dilemma is ever existing, we can achieve some sort of balance of power, and Luke mentions this. But before I get to Luke's balance of power, let's discuss the point about there being no world leader. Well, many analysts have argued that during the Cold War we had a bipolar system, balance of power as you mentioned, and then now we have a unipolar system. And that unipolar system, the main actor, that is to say the main hegemon, is the United States. And many analysts have made this case well grounded. Now, to go to your point about it being about the international context being one of anarchy and there being no world leader, this is based on a view that states are the main actor or only actor in international relations, and this is basically a naive understanding of the issue, because there is a tremendous amount of power in capital, in multinational corporations, transnational corporations, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and international financial institutions that set up the rules of the game in which these multinational corporations operate. Again, according to this view, a more Marxist or structuralist position, power isn't anarchic at the international level. No, power is highly stratified, and it can be stratified both within countries, class, in which if you're, and basically according to this, political power is not equal. If you're at the bottom rung of the ladder, that is to say, if you're some poor schmuck in a third world country living on beans, of course you're not going to have as much power as a big multinational corporation armed with a battery of lobbying machinery, international relations firm, public relations firms, lawyers, money, capital, organizations to insulate it from the public. Of course you're not going to have as much power. But it's not just within countries, it's between countries as well. This is called dependency theory, where you have the core. The core is the advanced industrial countries basically sucking their resources out of what's called the periphery, the penumbra, the countries that are off to the side. They're basically only good insofar as the resources they provide. That's our first disagreement. The second thing you mentioned is that balance of power is good. I agree, balance of power is a good thing. Do we have a balance of power? No. We have countries like the United States doing as it will when, for example, with regards to acting preemptively against Iraq. We have Russia, engaging in a war with Chechnya. There's no balance of power. There is the strong countries subjecting weaker countries to their wrath, not only between countries, but also multinational corporations dominating the people, the working class, the poor, the marginalized within countries. So this balance of power thing, perhaps it existed in the Cold War. Many have made the argument that because of the balance of power, because of a bipolar balance of power in which the United States and satellite countries and the Soviet Union and satellite countries were were diametrically opposed, yet at the same time, because of the mutually assured destruction, there was some sort of balance. There was some sort of fear of retaliation. You know, if I attack you in the water, you'll attack me in the air. If I attack you on land, you'll attack me in the water. This idea of mutually assured destruction, and two superpowers armed with a litany of nuclear bombs. There was a balance of power. Do we see one now? Not really. Now, to get right at the crux of your argument, more decentralization is always good because it creates more of a balance of power, and it prevents people from taking over again, quote unquote. But again, you're viewing international relations as if states are the main actors in global politics, and this is just naive. More decentralization. Whose interest does that work into? Does that work into? First of all, there's no direct link between decentralization and balance of power. That's just pure Walt Disney. But second of all, more decentralization. Who wants that? In the 80s and 90s, well, beginning in the late 70s to be exact, the United States had its web of multinational corporations, international financial institutions, the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, institute neoliberal policies in the global south, but not only the global south, also in Russia. It advised Russia on its policy, helped contribute to the impoverishment of the country, but other countries. And the idea is that more decentralization, more deregulation, more privatization, selling off state assets, cutting social spending, all of this contributes to the impoverishment of many people living in third world countries. But not only third world countries, people living in developed countries became impoverished because of these policies. Decentralization, to be sure, works in the advantage of multinational corporations. The idea is this: if you have power at the federal level and you offload that to the provincial level, you offload that to the municipal level, you offload that to the local level. Okay, the idea is that that all those resources that were once clinging to each other, all that power that was highly concentrated in the state apparat, highly centralized, all of that ends up getting disseminated. And what does that mean? What are the implications of that? That means that multinational corporations can go in, set up shop, and all they have to do, rather than dominate the federal government, which is hard, because they make their demands. You just have to give little rewards to the politicians working in municipal governments. It affords multinational corporations a tremendous amount of power to dominate people around the globe without actually reducing them to a subordinate status of a colony. It's neocolonialism. They're not reducing them to the subordinate status of a colony, but they're dominating them through the violations of human rights, through paying people just a little bit more than all of the local producers pay to put them out of business, and make them the main players in town, but also to produce for export back to the north, to the global north, to the Western industrialized countries. So decentralization is a tool for multinational corporations to subject people around the globe, especially marginalized people in the third world, to their wrath. Let's be sure about that. Again, based on your naive understanding, where states are the main actor, it doesn't delve into the details of the complexities of what goes on inside a country and how the capital is dominating labor through these mechanisms, through neoliberalism, but also through decentralization. It is not in the interest of these people. They need as much power located in the state as they can get. And hopefully you can consider some of these points. I'd love to hear a response video. I'm really interested in international relations, and I enjoy reading about this stuff. Hopefully my video was edifying. Thank you.